Okay guys, we're going through the practice questions, so here we go. First question, we've got Lara mixing some soft drink. We need to determine some ratios in simplest form. First one, A, is lemonade to ice cubes. We should label it to make sure it's very clear which ratio we're doing. Lemonade to ice cubes, there are 5 litres of lemonade to 4 litres of ice cubes. That is in simplest form, so we can stop there. Second is Coke to soda water. Now, we need to label Coke to soda water. Now, there's 1 litre of Diet Coke and 3 litres of Coke Zero. So we say, we write our 3 plus 1 to the 8 litres of soda water. And then we write that it's 4 to 8. And then we simplify that 1 to 2. Okay? So you don't need to show, what you've done to get to that ratio. That's fine to put it in. Just make sure that it's in simplest form like that. Next question, got to calculate these following ratios. So first one here, we've got 40 cents to $2. We can write this as 40 to 200 if we put them both in cents, and then we can divide both of them by 40, so we get 1 to 5 there. For B, we've got 2/3 to 4/5. There are a number of different ways you can do this. Probably the easiest way is that I think is to multiply by a lowest common multiple of the denominators. So the lowest common denominator that we have is 15. So if I multiply by 15, and I put that in my calculator, I get that this is going to be equal to 10 and this is equal to 12. And then that's not in simplest form. We need to divide both by 2 and we get 5 to 6, and that is in lowest form. Need to make sure we're very careful when multiplying, and all ratios need to be expressed without any decimals. Okay? So sharing 45 jelly beans into the ratio 3 to 2, we need to make a statement and says 45 jelly beans is 5 parts. This is 5 parts in total. 3 plus 2 is going to be 5. So that means that 9 jelly beans is 1 part. That means that we can do it easily there now. So if we want to share that ratio, we can say, so sharing in 3 to 2 is going to be 3 times 9 to 2 times 9, which is equal to 27 to 18 jelly beans. Question 4, we've got an engineer's drawing of an aircraft. We've got the scale. Scale is 1 to 250. We can see, because it's in this form, that the scale factor is going to be 250, so we can write that scale factor equals 250. We're asked to calculate the scaled length of the aircraft. So the scaled length is going to be equal to the 22.5 meters divided by 250, which is 0.09 meters. Probably better to put it in a more reasonable unit of measurement, 9 centimeters. The reason for that is 0.09 meters is very difficult to kind of visualize just how big that is, but 9 centimeters, pretty easy to kind of think about just how large 9 centimeters is. Okay, so we need to remember how to do this. If we're scaling up, so looking at what it's drawn like on the page, then we multiply by the scale factor. If we're going from real life to the page, then we're going and dividing by that scale factor. Question 5, Margaret's purchasing her 3-bedroom house, selling it later. What's the percentage profit? So we can find out the actual profit, which is the difference between the amount she bought it for and what she sold it for. So the profit is going to be 462,000 minus 385,000, and that is going to be 77,000. So that's the amount of profit. Now the percentage profit is equal to the profit divided by the original, multiplied by 100% to convert it to a percentage. So the profit is 77,000. over the original, which is 385,000, multiplied by 100 to get it as a percent, and we get that that is equal to 20%. Now you can do all of this in one step, or in kind of less working by taking this here, because that is the profit. We can put this step in here and just show that we've calculated the profit that way. So if you want to do it in slightly less working, you can do it that way, but there are a couple of students who did make an error on this one, so make sure that you review profit carefully. Bobby Jones bought a mint condition copy of Michael Jackson's Thriller. She originally paid $6 for it and expects to sell it with 450% profit. The majority of students got this question wrong because they misread the question. We're looking for, we are being asked for the selling price. So how much Bobby Jones is selling it for. She pays $6, she makes 450% profit on top of that $6. So a lot of students worked out 450% profit, and then they said, well, that's the amount that we're selling it for. But that doesn't take into account the amount that Bobby Jones originally paid for it. So we can work out the profit by calculating 450% of $6, which is 4.5 times 6, which is 27. Okay, so $27 is the profit. The selling price is going to the original plus the profit. So the original is $27 plus the $6, so the selling price is going to be $33. We should then write a sentence as well that says, therefore, the selling price is $33. Make sure you review that one. Question 7, we've got Ash putting $1,400 into a bank account, paying 6% simple interest. He withdraws the total amount of money after only 240 days. What is the total amount of money Ash will receive? So that's the total amount of money that is going to come out of his bank account. To find interest, we need to write down the formula. I equals PRT over 100. The principal, we can list them here. The principal here is 1,400. The rate is 6%. And the time is 240 days out of 365 days. Okay, so it's the fraction of the year that he's invested it for. It says 6% simple interest per annum. Okay, so that's 6% of interest over the year. So if he's only put it in for 240 days, then it's 240 out of the 365 days. So we can substitute those in. 1,400 times 6 times 240 over 365 divided by 100. And if we pop that into our calculator, we get 55.23. That's the amount of interest that Ash is going to receive, but it's not the total amount. The total amount, A, is the interest plus the principal, which is equal to 55.23 plus the 1,400. So the amount that he will receive is $1,455.23. Okay, so we can answer the question, therefore, the total amount he will receive is $1,455.23. Question 8, we've got our 3 people going to lunch together. The bill comes, it's not itemised, they've got to split the bill, $105. The first question says, propose a ratio that could be used to split the bill fairly. There are a number of different ways that you can work this out, but you need to make sure that you've got some reasoning. I'll show one answer, and but there are many different answers for this one. So I think it's easy if we've got our amounts in multiples of $5. So that means if I can find out how many parts would be, with $5 per part, then it means that when we split the bill, it's going to be easy, $5 for each person, or multiples of $5 for each person. Pretty easy to deal with there, no coins involved. Okay, so $105 divided by 5 is, how much is that? 21, sorry, 21 parts in total. So if we were to split it evenly between Glenda, Joan and Petra, evenly split, then that would be 7 parts each for an even split. But Joan also had a dessert. Glenda and Petra have had the same amount. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take 1 part from Glenda and Petra and give it to Joan so that she can pay for her dessert. So that will make Glenda reduce by 1, Joan increase by 2, and Petra decrease by 1 as well. 6 to 9 to 6. So that is equal to, if I put it in simplest form, because the question is asking to propose a ratio, I should put it in simplest form and divide each of them by 3. I get 2 to 3 to 2. So, and that's our even split. That's our split for taking into account. So taking into account dessert. So we can say here then that, because we're asked to explain our reasoning, we can say splitting the bill using parts of $5 each makes payment easier. And then we can start distributing evenly. And then give 1 part each to Joan, who pays for dessert as well. So we've answered that question, we've proposed the ratio, and we've explained our reasoning. Very important to make sure you do both of those parts. For part B, it says use your ratio to calculate how much each person needs to pay. Now, so for my Glenda to Joan to Petra, if we go back to my unsimplified one, we know that each of those parts is worth $5. So we can say that Glenda to Joan to Petra, that was 6 to 9 to 6. So if I'm distributing and each part's $5, that's 5 times 6 to 9 times 6, 9 times 5. 5 times 9 to 6, not 5, my gosh. Yes, 5 times 9 to 6, to 5 times 6 as well. So that's 30 to 45 to 30. We can say, therefore, Glenda and Petra pay $30 each, and Joan pays $45. Next question, we've got our clothing shops, 2 clothing shops. So we've got shop A and shop B. So the first shop, we've got buy 2, get the third half price. So that means for 3 shirts, I have to pay 2.5 times that original price of $19.95. So 2.5 times 19.95, looks like a plus, let's make it a multiply, times 19.95 is going to be equal to $49.88. We need to make sure we're very careful to round to the nearest cent here because it's not possible to pay fractions of a cent. For store B, for 3 shirts, it says 20% off for those 3 shirts, so we need to buy 3 full price shirts. And then to show that we're taking 20% off, we're paying 80% of that whole amount. So times 0.8. So this is going to be 47.88. So then we can make a conclusion because we're asked to determine which store is the cheaper place to buy 3 shirts and calculate how much she would save. So the difference is 49.88 minus 47.88, which is $2. So we can say, therefore, the second shop is cheapest by $2. Last question here. Stephen's got a credit card that charges $12.49% interest to its customer. It compounds that interest monthly. Very important to realise that. Compounds it monthly. Within 1 day of getting the credit card, he maxes it out and spends $1,200. He doesn't buy anything else on the card. He doesn't make any payments. So we just need to calculate how much money he would owe after 6 months. At the very start, he owes the $1,200 back. And then after the 6 months, there's going to be interest on top of that. So we know that the formula for the amount that he will owe is A equals P 1 plus R over 100 to the power of N. Now here, P is the principal, $1,200. R is the rate. Now because it is compounded monthly, that means we need to look at the monthly rate. This is 12.49% per annum, and it is compounded monthly. Okay, so that means we need to take 12.49% and divide by 12, and that gives us that our rate is 1.04% per month. 1.04 per month. Now, N is the number of periods, the number of consecutive compounding periods. This is after 6 months, 6 compounding periods. So we substitute these values in. 1200, 1 plus 1.04 over 100 to the power of 6. Now be very careful. I have rounded this 1.04. It's actually 1.04 something, 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 something. So I have rounded that to write in my answer. But you need to make sure you keep that value in your calculator when making your calculation. You can use the answer button, press second and answer to substitute that answer in, but you need to make sure that number is stored in the calculator so that all of those decimal points are factored in. Otherwise, you could get a rounding error at the end of your question. If you put that in and leave it as the value that you've got, you get that A is equal to $1,276.92. Okay, so we can say, therefore, Stephen will owe $1,276.92. Now it's that whole amount that he'll owe. He doesn't just owe the interest, so the interest is going to be the difference between the total amount and the principal. He owes that whole amount. If we were asked how much interest would he need to pay on that, then we would only be looking for the difference between them, so the $76.92. But we're asked how much money he would owe, and it's the full amount.